Hey everyone, it's Jodi here. Welcome. If you're live, say hello. If you're watching the replay, say hello because I love to know about you, what's going on, how this is landing in your life. So today we're going to talk about centering yourself, like how to center yourself, because there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And if you're watching the news or aware of everything going on in the world, like, of course you should be because we're here in it, involved in it. It feels so chaotic. It feels really out of our control. Sometimes we feel really helpless about all this stuff that's going on. And so I wanted to give you some tactics about what to do to stay centered. You know, when these things, thanks for the hearts, give me more. You know, when these things tend to want to pull you off balance, how do you stay grounded, rooted? And I didn't use the word grounded. I used the word centered because grounded implies just one direction, but we really want to be connected. We really want to be connected to, connected to the field. I always call it the field. And you might be like, what is she talking about when she says the field? What is Jodi saying? The field is like the spirit around us. Like, so I think about like the trees, the air, the ground, the plants, each other, other people, animals, connecting to that, but the light in each of those things, like the highest part of each of those things, connecting to that so you don't feel so alone. I think one of our hugest problems in the world, I'm not very eloquent today, sounds like. This is the first time I think I'm talking today. No, I did another live video in my Facebook group. But if you think about, there's good stuff of everything around you. And yes, there's negative energy, but I want you to connect with that good energy and the things around you, because that will help you feel held. It is there, but a lot of times we don't believe it's there. We don't think about it being there. And so we don't connect to it. And too often we're trying to protect ourselves from all the negative, that negative energy. If you're an empath like me, like you feel what everyone else is feeling. So I connect to all that good stuff because it provides a support to hold me. And I think because I've been working with people with trauma for so long, it really makes me feel like when you've experienced trauma or any kind of feeling of out of control, anxiety, any kind of emotional turmoil as well, you feel unheld. There's this deep feeling unheld, and I want to bring back that held feeling, because on top of what you've experienced, that unheld feeling perpetuates the problem and how much we're struggling in life. And I want to adjust that for people. Okay. So because that doesn't feel very good and you don't deserve it, and I want you to feel better. Is that thing on there? Did I have that comment thing on the bottom this whole time? Anyway, so instead of saying ground yourself, because that's one way, we want to be connected. So we want to center ourselves, but not just go inside, but center as in balancing and connecting. Center is in feeling connected, but whole. And so there's a couple different ways you could do that. And go ahead and ask me a question. Type it in. I know it takes some time. So if I'm finished with what I want to, oh, thanks, Marsha. I thought that was just me who saw that. It just told me that I could put things in there. Whatever. Technology, whatever. Okay. So I'm just doing it right now. One of the best ways to center yourself when you're feeling, the chaos is really affecting you. One of the good ways to center yourself is to touch your hand over your heart. So that physical touch, that physical connection with our center, our heart center, or listening to our heartbeat or touching our heartbeat or getting back centered, we're going into the stillness. And is that stillness, there's healing. Like in the stillness, in the mindfulness, in the presence, there is a bit of relaxation that comes for the nervous system, but also the emotional and the mental body with that physical touch. Hi, Shelly. You're welcome. So when you are touching your heart is great. Also, if you're really feeling up here and in your mind, you might want to touch your heart and your stomach, or at least your stomach, because that brings your center of gravity down. A lot of times our center for gravity is around our head because we are so stressed, and then it makes all of the mind go and question and figure out the problem and all that stuff. We want to bring our center of gravity lower. And so you might want to touch your lower belly or your heart and lower belly and bring that attention. So when you touch it, it brings your focus and your attention down there, and that really helps you. Okay, focus on the exhale. If you focus on the exhale, when you're feeling a little bit out there and a little bit too much air, a little bit in your head, and you want to come down into the body, you want to exhale. Because so often when we're hyper, when we're upset, we inhale a lot, like because we want to control. So we inhale a lot and we forget to exhale, and we don't empty our lungs fully, and that makes us more anxious. So you really want to exhale, focus on the exhale. So touch, focus on the exhale. With my son and a lot of my friends, kids are going to college, and some of them is their first kid going to college. And my son left yesterday, so I know how that feels, but he's 4 years in, so 5 years in, 4 years in, I don't even know. So it gets better each time, I promise you. But in the beginning, I had to focus on that exhale. All I did was anytime I was like feeling stressed, I could feel it in my heart and my nervous system was not regulating. I just focused on the exhale, and it really helped calm me down. After a couple of weeks, I felt really much more integrated. I mean, I missed him like crazy, but I was feeling okay, like stable again, even though there's a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah. So the next thing I want to tell you about is having some compassion for yourself. So both of these things, the exhale and the touching, could also bring your attention to being kind to yourself. Like just kind of love it yourself for the feelings, allow yourself to feel them and love it yourself for those feelings. Have a little bit of compassion there. And that is actually going to take the stress down a little bit, because when we usually what humans do is they start to judge right away. Like, I don't want to feel this way. They start to panic about it. But if you give your feelings a little bit of love, it validates you a little bit, and that helps to calm you. So those are my best ways to get centered right away in any moment, no matter where you are. Of course, you want to get outside. If you could get outside, that is one of the best ways to center yourself, to get outside, because it allows you, I talked about this 2 weeks ago in my live on Monday, but getting outside and all the things about getting outside that really helps you open up. It's like big picture. You just have the space to expand a little bit. You're touching the ground, so you're grounding in. You're starting to notice things outside yourself. Sometimes your movement or you're doing some activity, and that helps bring you to the present moment. So that is another tactic to do, is to get outside. If you can, get outside. So touch yourself, exhale, get yourself outside. Who has some other ideas on how to get centered when you're feeling all topsy-turvy by either some news or some event in your life or events in the world? What are some ways that you get settled in your nervous system, in your mind, in your emotional body, and in your physical body? What are your ways to connect to the field, to feel held instead of feeling unheld, untethered, topsy-turvy? Like, what is your ways of doing it? Well, if you have no questions, I'm glad that, Marsha, you like my topic. Emma, I'm doing great. I'm doing really, really great. I finished some projects last week. Tree hugging. Yes. Shelly, tree hugging is definitely a way that I get myself centered. Gardening is grounding. Yeah, gardening is grounding. It is absolutely so many benefits to gardening, because you got that prebiotics, the probiotics from the soil. It goes right through your hands and it helps your gut bacteria, and that really helps your mind, right? Laying on the ground, You are a woman after my own heart. I totally do that. I walk barefoot outside. I lay on the ground as much as I can, especially after a stressful session with somebody. If they're really having, if they've had a really difficult time or a really bad history, or I get some bad news, I go lay on the ground as fast as I can get out there because I just want to really feel held and connected and release some of that tension out there because it doesn't help the situation, right? We have all this stress about things and then it makes us kind of feel helpless and overwhelmed when we want that energy to do something for somebody or do something for the situation. So, yes, uh, go to the beach and walk in the water and the sand. Oh, I'm writing a whole new set of guided meditations, Shelley, and the one that I'm writing now is about you're on the beach in the tidal zone there, right in the surf, right where the waves are coming in and out in the meditation. So I'm glad you said that. Nice confirmation that I'm doing the right thing. Find an awesome massage therapist who also does Reiki. Excellent. These are great examples. So continue to write them because then you'll be able to share from each other. And so even after I'm off, even after I'm done with the replay, even after I'm off live here, continue to say how you might center yourself, ground yourself, feel connected, feel held, holding my dog. Yes, 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 yes. So, well, it's so nice to be with you today. I will see you next Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And hug the people you love. And even like, yeah, yeah, hugs, touch, any kind of touch, touching yourself. You don't have anyone there. If you don't have anyone there, touching a pet, touching yourself, touching somebody else. Like, we don't touch enough. Right? I know I was going to say goodbye, but wow, thank you for that. We don't touch enough because I don't know, maybe it's social media, maybe it's the way we're living. We're living in smaller and smaller households. We don't touch each other enough, and that really affects our nervous system. Like we are meant, like primate, we're the only primate that doesn't do the social grooming, and that social grooming is meant to calm the nervous system. So as humans, like we have to make sure we get touch as much as possible. And so if you're living alone, find a way to do that if you can. Look at all these familiar faces on today. Hi, Sheila. Good to see you. All right, excellent. So get yourself grounded. You know, you might have to take a break from some news. Yes, but we don't want to avoid it altogether, or we don't want to deny, because we want to see what we could do to make the world a better place. And that doesn't always mean for what's going on or what you're reading about. Sometimes we can't do something for what we read about online that's really awful situation, but we could do something locally in our own context that makes a difference for someone. So you can make a difference for anybody, right? And that helps us feel a little bit more control when the world's in chaos. But get yourself grounded, connected, held by the field first, so that then you have the energy, dance. Then you have the energy to go forth and do what you wanted and really live your purpose and really make an impact on the world. All right, I can't wait to see you next week. And until then, be present and let that you want to be shine through.